Doesn't look much like a king's castle.
Well, don't tell King Bolton when we get there. This mission's important to King Arthur. Come on.
We have had a great tragedy here, Sir Lancelot.
I've heard stories of a curse.
Aye, that's the proper word for it. Our enemy is not mortal. For generations, women from among my people have disappeared without a trace. Kidnapped by the kilted ghosts, as we call them. And now they have abducted my daughter, the fair Iolta.
If the abductors are not mortal men, what are they? Spirits? Demons?
You must know that when the last Roman legion sailed away from Britain, they left no one behind.
Yes, they needed every man for the defense of Rome itself.
What you may not know is that the ghosts of the Roman dead remain to haunt us.
Ghosts? From hundreds of years ago? Oh, impossible.
My daughter was seized from her horse by Imperial Roman legionaries in full armor.
Ghosts in full armor?
Stretching out to sea, a few miles east of here, is a little point of land. Across it, from shore to shore, runs a high wall. That is where they've taken her, behind the Roman wall.
And you don't have enough warriors to go and bring her back again?
My men are brave warriors against human foes. But no one who has gone beyond that wall has returned to say what lies behind it.
It's a little difficult to imagine spirits building a wall.
Build it or not, spirits guard it, and they have done so since anyone in this area can remember.
King Bolton, will you give me permission to try and bring back your daughter to you?
You can't fight ghosts.
I don't intend to. There are none. King Bolton, I have a pledge to ask of you in return. If I succeed in restoring your daughter to you, will you swear fealty to King Arthur as overlord of Britain?
That is a bargain I would gladly accept. But I can't throw away your life.
No, you can't. Only I can do that. Brian, we shall need some special equipment.
What kind of equipment? Magic spells and charms?
Forget this matter of ghosts, Brian. We shall need some real weapons. If you want to stay with King Bolton, you can.
Oh, no, I've always wanted to see a ghost. From a distance.
That must be the wall.
Look! There's another, Sir Lancelot. Let's go back.
I've heard about things like this before. It's a mirage.
Mirage?
Yes. We think we see them, but in fact we don't.
Then they are ghosts.
I don't know yet. Give me the rope. You stay here, Brian.
After all, or a ghost. Turn out the guard! To the wall! Sound the alarm!
If the strangers are so anxious to visit us, let them.
What, let them inside the wall?
Little enough of Roman glory survives. Let us not bury our tradition of hospitality. Will you be good enough to descend and make your errand known? Chloris, remain at your post. Maxentius, come down here and help Drago and put away your swords. Take Drago to the Legion barracks. But do as I say, I don't want you. Welcome. If my greeting lacks warmth, may I point out that you have an unconventional way of paying a social visit?
This is not a social visit. I am a knight of the Round Table, and I come here on a mission
You might have announced all that outside instead of trying to scale our wall like a common thief. However, I've been in this island too long to be surprised by the manners of the natives.
You can't talk
Quiet,
that way.
Brian. May I know to whom I'm speaking?
I am Trollus Septimus Carcassian, Dux Britannicus,
Dux Britannicus.
military and civil governor of the Roman province of Britain.
Roman province of Britain. I wasn't aware that the Roman Empire still existed.
This is the last Roman outpost in Britain. Authority has been handed down to me through generations. And so long as we exist, the empire still stands. I came out this morning on foot. It is only a short walk.
What's that say?
To Rome, 1,120 miles.
Ah, Probus, good of you to welcome us.
Only Merlin could have seen this.
You'd never believe it.
I don't quite believe it myself.
Is this the stranger that tried to force his way into our domain? What do you wish done with him?
Done with him? Why, first of all, have Gogus show him to a chamber. And afterwards, a bath and a change of clothing.
I did say I was here on a mission, you know.
All in good time. I shall be happy to listen to what you have to say after dinner.
You heard what His Excellency said.
If you'll follow me.
That must be the girl, Bolton's daughter.
Shh. We must bide our time, Brian.
Excellency, I'll show you to the baths when you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aren't you going to rescue the girl? That's what we're here for.
Maybe we can rescue her by diplomacy. Well, don't look so unhappy. At least they turned out not to be ghosts.
I still don't like the place.
Brian, there is a saying of St. Ambrose. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And we're practically in Rome.
We're only 1,100 miles away.
Ah.
Are you actually going to wear that?
More wine, Sir Lancelot. Gogus, fill our guest's goblet.
It's delicious. I've never tasted its like.
Such wines are not made north of the Alps. Gogus, place some of this Falernian in Sir Lancelot's chamber before he retires.
I think the time is overdue for you to explain about the maiden Iolta, King Bolton's daughter.
I think the time is overdue to put an end to treating this spy like an honored guest.
And I remind you, dear Probus, that an advisor's function is to speak when he is called on for advice. Your concern about the maiden is unfounded. We mean her no harm.
You seized her, and you're keeping her a prisoner. Isn't there harm enough in that?
An unfortunate necessity. But there is a great honor in store for her. She is to be the bride of my grandson and the mother of a future Dux Britannicus. Our problem was simple. We had to keep the succession intact against the day when the imperial power is restored. And he could hardly marry less than a princess.
I represent King Arthur, the real authority in Britain now. And I must demand that you yield up the maid Neolta to my custody.
We will take care of your Arthur when the legions return. Meanwhile...
Be silent, Probus. What you say of King Arthur interests me. Until now, there has been no possibility of a single central power around whom the people of Britain could unite. Probus speaks of the day when the legions will return. But the truth is, we have no way of knowing if that day will ever come. Therefore, it is worth considering whether there might not be more security in an understanding with your king than in our isolation.
Our wall has kept us safe for centuries.
But it was crossed today by one man and one boy. Sir Lancelot, these are grave matters that deserve the most serious discussion. But it is late, and we are all in need of rest. May we show you to your bedchamber now and resume our conversation in the morning?
Including the question of King Bolton's daughter?
Including that. Come, Probus, Amadeus, let us be an escort of honor to our guest. The greatest treasure left us in a world gone mad is trust between men of good faith. I trust you will be comfortable, Sir Lancelot. Ah, Gogus, you remembered my instruction. Sir Lancelot, may I pour you some wine?
Thank you. You're a most attentive host.
The Empire, in its greatest days, produced nothing greater than this wine. May it help you to a deep and undisturbed rest.
Tripped over that wretched old pot.
That wretched old pot is probably a Roman work of art. I shall have a fine time explaining this to our host in the morning. Come inside. Now, what are you doing sneaking about in the night? One of those guards might have run you through with a spear.
I had to come to tell you not to drink any wine.
What?
You didn't drink any, did you?
No.
It's poisoned. That's what I think. I was in the kitchen when I saw that servant, the one called Gogus, putting something into the wine. Something out of a special cupboard. I'll wager it's poison.
Oh, Brian, I'm sure you're wrong.
No.
Well, if it'll make you any happier, I'll test it.
Test it? On who?
Not you. One of Master Merlin's enchantments, a wine tester, to be used when visiting strange castles. He's a suspicious old man, Merlin.
Good for him. How does it work?
Well, these 3 pieces of parchment have been specially prepared by Merlin. I put them in the wine, and if any one of the 3 turns black, the wine is poisoned. Even if it works, which is highly doubtful, I don't think there's any chance of poison. I had dinner with Trellis tonight, and I'm sure he wants to be friendly. He's a civilized outlook, Brian.
Perhaps he talks friendly, Sir Lancelot. But he's the one who told Gogus to bring you some wine. And look!
Your judgment seems better than mine tonight.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take the girl we came for and go. And when she's safe, I'll return and settle with Trellis for his treachery.
We'll have to force the gate. It's open.
You stay here, Brian.
Well?
Don't cry out. I'm here to help you. Your father sent me.
Help me? Who are you?
We must leave immediately.
Oh, I'm going nowhere. It's late, and I'm ready for bed.
If I'm to rescue you, it'll have to be tonight. There'll be guards to fight at the wall, and the problem of the gate.
Amadeus, the man they want me to marry, told me a knight was here to rescue me, sent by my father. Are you he?
Yes, let's go.
We laughed about it. You see, I have no wish to be rescued.
No wish to be rescued?
This is a far nicer way to live than in a musty old castle. And I've practically decided to fall in love with Amadeus.
What?
Now that I meet you, I'm sorry I laughed. I can see you are most earnest and handsome. Exactly the sort of knight I'd like to be rescued by if I needed rescuing. But I don't.
You were abducted by force. Your father is broken-hearted. Are you such a featherhead as to imagine these wrongs can be righted by a few perfumes and creams and fine clothes?
And the baths tonight. Don't forget the deep, hot baths.
Iolta, I am a simple man, and growing simpler as the night progresses. You are an abducted princess, and if it takes another abduction to right that wrong, then I shall perform it.
I have spoken to you reasonably, Sir Knight, and thanked you. Now leave.
You're coming with me.
Oh, no, I'm not. Guards! Help! What's that?
Don't want it here.
Surrender, Sir Lancelot, or you will die.
Take them away. Put them in chains.
Only one detail remains, Gogus. Get to Lancelot's chamber, exchange the poison for clear, sweet wine. I think, perhaps in honor of the occasion, our best vintage. Last night, having accepted your hospitality, Your Excellency, this man was caught in an attempt to abduct the Princess Iolta.
In other words, in attempting to do exactly what His Excellency had already done.
Sir Lancelot, uppermost in my mind is not so much the issue of Iolta as your treachery. Last night at supper, you broke bread and drank wine with me and spoke in terms of friendship and trust.
Last night at supper, the wine was not poisoned.
Of course it wasn't.
But the wine at my bedside was. The wine that you yourself poured out for me. It was you, Trellis, who broke the friendship and began the treachery.
I poured you poisoned wine?
He fears for his life and seeks to avoid punishment by lies.
I do not lie. If that wine is still at my bedside, have it brought here and we'll see who lies.
An excellent suggestion. Gogus, fetch the wine.
Just a moment. Gogus could hardly be described as a friend of the accused. How do I know he's going to bring back the same jug of wine?
Release the boy.
Go, Brown.
I am here to judge you, not to defend myself. Nevertheless, I swear that if that wine I poured last night was poisoned, I had no knowledge of it.
Maybe it was poisoned without your knowledge.
We shall see.
To resume, Your Excellency, this man admits that he attempted to abduct the Princess Iolta. He has broken your all-powerful law.
His law isn't all-powerful to me. I serve King Arthur.
Behind our wall, His Excellency's law is all-powerful. I demand for this man the penalty of death. The issue here, not yet spoken, but nevertheless the issue, is, did I arrange that Lancelot's wine be poisoned? A toast to Your Excellency. Dux Britannicus. I demand the penalty of death.
I grant your demand. You will fight this afternoon in the arena.
His opponent, Gogus, the Retiarius.
I don't understand. Am I sentenced to fight or to death?
They are, as you will discover, one and the same thing.
That all they gave you to fight with? That kitchen knife?
Well, it may be a good enough weapon, if I can get in close enough.
What does a Retiarius have as a weapon?
He has a net and Some kind of a spear. Very effective and very dangerous.
You have a chance, don't you?
I don't know, Brian. I don't know.
Come on, you. It's your turn now.
The fight will be to the death.
What about that wine?
Provost ordered me to do it. Get up. Come on, get up.
Come on, Gogus. Tell Trellis what you told me.
Come on. Provost ordered me to poison the wine.
Guards. Sir Lancelot. Sir Lancelot. A man betrayed by those he trusts is a helpless man. And helpless men must beg. I beg you then. Let us talk and see if we cannot renew our confidence in each other.
I'm prepared to talk. Gladly.
Well, Sir Lancelot, I bid you good journey. And when you reach the castle of King Bolton, would you see that Amadeus is not too rudely treated?
Actually, I don't think King Bolton will object to the marriage once it's been presented to him properly. And once he's got used to the idea that Amadeus isn't a ghost.
Hurry back, my dear. Goodbye, my son. Bring King Bolton back to visit me. Tell him from now on, the gate will always be open.
Now listen to my story, yes, listen while I sing of days of old in England when Arthur was the king, of Merlin the magician and Guinevere the queen, and Lancelot the bravest knight the world has ever seen.
In days of old, when knights were bold, his story told of Lancelot.
He rode the wilds of England, adventures for to seek, to rescue maidens in distress and help the poor and weak. If anyone oppressed you, he'd be your champion. He fought 1,000,000 battles and he never lost the one.
In days of old, when knights were bold, his story's told of Lancelot. In days of old, when knights were bold, This story's told of Lancelot.